Hello students, welcome once more to online video class for ICSE class 10th computer applications. Today we are going to study about function overloading, which is the last topic of this function chapter, and it is very important topic. So we will discuss what is function overloading and how to design a program for function overloading. So starting with the topic, function overloading is a process of defining functions or methods with the same function names but with different number and types of parameters or arguments. It means a class will have many functions with the same name, but the number of arguments will be different in all the functions, or if the number of arguments are not different, then their data type should be different. So this is the criteria to design a program with function overloading. Listen once more. In case of function overloading, we design many functions in the same class with the same name, but the number of arguments will be different in these functions, or if the number of arguments are same, then their data type should be different. Only then it is possible. System finds the best match of the function arguments and the parameter list, that is data types and number of arguments, during the program compilation. Now how to define function overloading? With one example I would like to explain it. Suppose we want to find the area of three geometrical figures, which is a square, circle and rectangle, using function overloading. It means we have to create three functions with the same name, but their purpose will be different. First function will be used to find its area of a square, second function to find area of circle, and third function to find area of rectangle. So in case of function overloading, all the functions should have same name. I have taken the name of the function as area. So you can see in the example I have designed three functions with the same function name, that is area. Now we can design the functions either with return type or with non-return type. Both the things are possible. So in this example I have designed three functions with return type. So first function returns integer value, second and third function returns double value. Now first function is to find area of a square. So we need one side of the square, so one argument. To find area of circle, again we need radius of the circle, that is one argument. So in first function and second function you can see we need single argument. So when the number of arguments are same, then I had told you their data type should be different. This is the reason one data type I have taken int, second one I have taken double. If we take both as int or both as double, then it will not compile. During compilation it will give error message. Now the third function is designed to find the area of rectangle. We know to find the area of rectangle we need length and breadth. Here we have two arguments, so both are declared double type. We can declare both of them integer type also, no problem. So whenever you create program with function overloading, always remember all the function names should be same, but their data type should be different if they have same argument. If the number of arguments are different, then data type is not a problem. We can have any type. Now we will see one program. Write a program to find area of square, area of circle and area of rectangle using function overloading. I have already designed the program. Question is same. Class name I have taken overload scanner since it is designed with scanner class. So first we need to create three functions with same name, that is area. First function name is area. Second function name is also area. And third function name is also area. So all three functions have same function name. Now I have designed these three functions as return type. So first one is returning a double value, second one is returning a integer value, and third one is returning again a double value. So this is the return type. Now the number of arguments. First function receives one double value, that is the radius of circle. This function is designed to find the area of circle. So first we need radius, that will be stored in R. Now the logic of this function, pi r square is the formula. So AR1 is declared a double value that will store the area of this circle. Now return statement is required since we have return type function. In the same way, we have designed another function to find the area of square. We need one side of the square, so we have taken int type as the side. The reason is, in the first method also we are taking one argument, in the second method also we are taking one argument. So when the number of arguments are same, then their data type should be different. This is the reason I have taken int here. To find the area of a square, S into S will be the area that will be stored in AR2, which is declared as int type, and return statement is used returning the area. So int type is the return type here. Now the third function, it accepts two double values, that is length and breadth. Now if we multiply length and breadth, we will get area of rectangle that will be stored in AR3, and we will return AR3. So these three functions are designed with function overloading. Now in the main method, since we have created the program with scanner class, first create object. Now we have to call all the three methods in the main. So while calling the method, first we need input from the user so that value can be sent during the function call. So whatever values are required in the previous three functions as input, that we will ask from user. First we will ask the side of the square, that will be integer type. Radius of circle, that will be double type. Length and breadth of rectangle, in these two variables, again double type. So for input we have side, radius, len and BRE for breadth. You can see three extra variables here, N, M and P. Whenever we call a return type method, since all the three methods are return type, they will send a value. So first function will send a double value, Second function will send a integer value, and third function will also send a double value. So our objective is to call the other three methods in the main. So these methods will send three different values. This is the reason to receive the values we need three variables. Now the data type of the returned value should match with the data type of the variable. This is the reason n is declared int type. It will receive the area of square because it will send integer value. Here you can see int type we have for area of square. Now other two methods will return double value. So m and p are declared to receive the area of circle and area of rectangle. First we will ask the input from the user with a message. Enter side of a square that we need in integer value. So give a instruction to the user so that they can enter only integer for the side of square. Now in case of radius of circle and length and breadth of rectangle, we can take any type, whether integer type or double type, it will work. So after displaying the message, side will store the side of a square, radius will store radius of circle, len and BRE will store length and breadth. When input is taken, then we will create object of the class. Why creation of object is required? Because we are calling non-static method inside static method. So creation of object is compulsory here. Now after the creation of object, we will call the three methods one by one. You can see in all the methods, same function area is called. And for calling the function, we are using the object OB that is created in the above statement. Now, first we are passing side, which is an integer value. Second, we are passing radius, which is a double value. And third, we are passing two arguments, len and BRE. These two are also double values. So when first function will be called, that is area. When this line executes, then compiler will search where is area. Now here compiler will find three functions with the same name area. Now compiler will have a confusion which function to be called. Then it will check the argument which are sent. We are sending one argument. Now compiler will check which function is receiving one argument. So it will find first function is receiving one argument, second one is also receiving one argument. Again a confusion to the compiler. So which one should be called? And in case of third function, it is receiving two arguments, so compiler will avoid this function. So compiler will have doubt whether to call first one or second one. Now it will check the data type of the argument passed. So in first case, we are sending side. Side belongs to integer type. Now compiler will check which function is receiving integer value. R, it is double value, so this function will not be called. Second function receives integer value, So this function will be called now. Now what happens during function call? Side which we have taken from the user, copy of side will be received in S. Now S square will be stored in AR2 and the same result AR2 will be returned back. So after this function block executes, it will send the square of S. It will be sent in the caller method. So when this line executes, whatever part is shaded, this part will have the area of square which is sent by the above method. And to store that area, we have taken a integer type variable, that is n. Since the function sends integer value, so we need an integer variable to receive the value. Same process applies here. When again we are calling area method and passing radius, since one argument is passed and here we are passing double value is received by first function, so this function will be called now. Now the copy of radius that we have sent here, radius is actual parameter here, so copy of actual parameter, that is radius, will be received in R, which is a formal parameter. Now pi r square is the formula of area of circle. So AR1, which is double type, will store the area of circle and area of circle will be returned back. So when this area is returned back, the highlighted part will receive the area and it will be stored in M. In the same way, when we are calling the same function area and this time we are passing two arguments, length and breadth, then compiler will call this function because it receives two arguments. So here copy of len and bre will be stored in a and b. A and b will get multiplied, that will be stored in AR3, which is the product of a and b, and that product will be returned back. Now this returned value will be received in P at the time of function call statement. So we have called all the three methods above by passing three arguments of different types, and the result received are stored in three separate variables n, m and p. We have to remember n is for area of square, m is for area of circle and p is for area of rectangle. Now we will print the area of square, circle and rectangle which is stored in n, m and p. This is the whole program. Now we will see the result of this program. Main is already designed with a static keyword, so main can be executed directly. It is asking side of a square in integer, radius of circle, length and width of rectangle. So we can pass the values. Four is the side of a square. So area of a square is 16, that is 4 square. Area of circle pi r square and area of rectangle, that is 7 into 8. We have got the result. So I hope it should be clear to you now. One more program we will see to understand this function overloading. Write a program to find volume of cube, volume of sphere, volume of cuboid using function overloading. I have designed the program with scanner class. So first import the package util, class name, you can give any class name. Now here in this question, I have created three functions with the same name. Our objective is to find the volume. So name of the function I have taken volume here and volume here. And here all the three functions are non-return type. In the previous program, I had taken all the three functions as return type. In the beginning, I had told you we can design the program or functions with non-return type or return type, that is up to us. If instruction is not given in the question, then we are free to design return type method or non-return type method. But in some cases, instruction is properly given in the question whether to design with return type or non-return type. So I have given you two examples how to design non-return type method and how to design return type method. So we have declared three variables: Vc to find volume of cube, Vs to find volume of sphere, Vcd to find volume of cuboid. These three variables are declared before the method or after the method, but inside the class. So these are instance variables. So these variables can be used in all the methods of this class. Now first function is void volume int s. It receives one integer value s cube. This is the formula to find volume of cube. S cube will be stored in Vc. Now see, Vc is declared as instance variable, so it can be used in this function. Since we have designed non-return type method, so we will use the print statement rather than return statement to print the result. So with a message that is the volume of cube equal to, we can print the value of Vc. Similarly, we have designed the second method. To find the volume of sphere, we need radius of sphere, that is received in R of float type. Again it is void type. Now Vs equal to, formula is 4 by 3 pi r cube. I have used typecasting double, otherwise this 4 by 3 will become 1, because 4 by 3 means quotient will be 1. This is the reason typecasting is done. When we divide one integer with another integer, answer will be integer, but here we need double value. That is why typecasting is done. So it will become 4.0 divided by 3 and result will be multiplied with 22 by 7. So 4 by 3 pi r cube. Instead of 22 by 7, we can write 4 math.py function also. Now we can print the volume of sphere with a message. Now the third function is required to receive three arguments, that is the length, breadth and height of the cuboid. I have taken all the three arguments in integer type. Product of LBH will be stored in VCD. Then we can print the volume of cuboid. Simple functions. So all three functions are designed with non-return type. Now in the main method, which is static, first we have to take the input from the user, that is side of a square is required in integer value, length, breadth and height of cuboid is required in integer value, radius of sphere is required in float value. So the data type should match with the data type of the formal arguments. Create object of scanner class. Now display a message before taking the value. So message is obvious. Enter the side of cube. Here we need integer value. Radius of sphere can be in any type. And three sides of cube should be in integer type. That is why instruction is given here. So in the same order we will write the variables. First one is to receive side of cube, so as integer type, int dot next int. To receive radius of sphere, r float type, and the function is next float. To receive length, breadth, height of cuboid, next int is used since we are receiving integer value. When input is taken, then create object of the class name OB, that is object name, new keyword, class name with blank parameter list. Now through the object OB we can call volume. So OB dot volume is common in all the three statements, but during function call we will send different values. So first time we are sending S. So S is actual argument here or actual parameter which is sent. Here you can see S belongs to integer value. Now the compiler will search where is volume function which receives integer argument, that is one integer argument. So compiler will start searching. It will find volume is present at three places. Then it will check number of argument. Third function receives three arguments, so it will not be considered. First and second function receives one argument each. So compiler will decide which one to be called. That will be decided by the data type of the argument passed. So here we are passing S which belongs to integer type. This is the very important point. Now compiler will check out of these two functions which is receiving integer value. So first function is receiving integer value. This is the reason first function will be called. When we are passing primitive value, that is integer value here. So actual parameter is S here. So copy of actual parameter will be sent and it will be received by formal parameter, that is S. So S will receive the copy of this S. This S we have taken as input. After that S cube will be stored in VC and we will get the result of volume of Q in the same method. It will be printed in the same method. So after the print statement, control will return back to the main. In the main again next function is called and this time we are passing R, that is a float value. Now compiler will check which one is receiving float value. So second one will be called, so copy of actual parameter R will be received in this R. Now it will calculate the volume of the cuboid with the formula, and it will print the volume of cuboid, sorry, sphere, that is 4 by 3 pi r cube. And after printing the result, this function will be over. Now control will return back to the main function. Then the last statement will be executed. Now compiler will search which volume function receives 3 argument. So here we have only one function which receives 3 argument. So copy of LBH will be received in this LBH, and the product of LBH will be stored in VCD, and that will be printed here with the message volume of cuboid. And after the execution of this method, again control will return back here in the main method. Now in the main method we don't have any other statement, so our program is over. So this is the whole process. Main method controls the whole program. We are running the main method, but actually in the main method all the other methods are called one by one. Now we will see the result of this program. Enter the value of side of cube. Suppose it is 5. Radius of sphere is 6. 3 sides of cuboid. Suppose 1, 2 and 3. So 5 cube will be 125, that is the volume of cube, and last 3 values 1 into 2 into 3 is 6, that is the volume of cuboid, and this one is depending on the formula 4 by 3 pi r cube. Now this program is also over. So today we have discussed what is function overloading, how to design the program or method for function overloading. 2 programs we have discussed today. In first program we had created 3 functions with return type, and in the second program we had created 3 functions to find the volume, but this time these 3 functions were non-return type. So revise the program. Now this chapter is over. Try to solve the exercise problems given in your book. In the next video I will explain some more programs related with this chapter method. Okay, take care. Thank you.